Hello, this is Prep Dad Skills. For starters, if you hear a bunch of weird noise in the background, two of my dogs snore worse than I do, and the several dogs outside are running around scaring up, chasing after deers and everything currently. So it could happen. So today's video is about starting a series and everything for backpacking and weight. My oldest son wants to start going backcountry camping and everything, which is fantastic. He used to do it and everything before I started having a bunch of kids and everything. Have done a bunch of section hikes on the AT and everything. Had a blast. Have had a blast. So, given my current leg situation, and given the backpacking trips are about 6 months away, so my leg will be healed by then, and everything, I do not want to make my injury worse. So one thing that I've been looking into a lot more is the ultralight aspect. Now there's some things I'm not going to compromise on, which I would rather have really good sleep and have a lighter backpack in other ways. So one thing I was looking at is I was starting with headlamps, as I was going through my power stuff and everything anyway, and I did a video on that. So for headlamps and everything, I was just curious as to what would change and what's been happening with headlamps and everything. The one thing I never considered and everything was actually the batteries. So I'm going to show you on the scale. I got a scale set up down here. We'll weigh everything, go over it all for how much the difference between an alkaline and a lithium battery actually make and everything for your weights. And I've got 5 different headlamps and everything that we're going to go over for total weight. Now, one thing I am caveating this all with is that I am a firm believer in 2 is 1, 1 is none. Does that mean that I'm going to carry 2 headlamps with me? No. My primary EDC, this will become my backup and everything when I go backpacking. I'm not getting a smaller one. I'm not doing anything. This is my flashlight. I can use it as a headlamp, attaching it to my baseball cap, and it's my tried and true. Plus it runs on 3 different batteries, so that becomes the backup light. Where I'm going for the headlamps and everything is, though, because it's my primary light, I want to make sure that I have with me at all times 2 full recharges, whether that's with a battery bank or whether that's with batteries for the headlamps. Reason being, I've run into problems and everything. Temperature does affect the batteries. Buddies forget batteries and everything. So that way then if I have to loan out a set to somebody or give a set to somebody, I still have 1 set left over because I've got 1 in the headlamp and 1 set left over, which leaves me with 2. So I'm fine with that. So I'll carry that little bit extra weight just for that security factor. So we're gonna go ahead and go down here. Boop. And for starting things out, these are both the power cell or power pack battery packs, power cell, storage cell. I like these a lot just because they're easy to hang on to and keep the batteries all nice and separated and everything. They do weigh a little bit, but I'm not that pressed about it. So the alkaline and everything in this case weighs 2.8 ounces. For the AAA. For the lithium, you're talking 2.0. So you're talking about 0.7, 0.8 ounce difference between the two. So already lighter than that, right? So I went a step further because I've got some lights that run off of AA's. So your alkaline AA's, 1.7, 1.6. Your lithium AA's, 1.1, 1.0. Okay, again, 0.6 of an ounce. Doesn't sound like a lot, shouldn't be a big deal, but when you're talking, ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain, this stuff adds up. So if we're going over these lights and everything, all the weights that I have in all the headlamps are all with these lithium ion. There's nothing that I'm going to show or go over today that has alkalines in it just to save that weight. Because when it came down to the weights and everything for these headlamps and such, it came down to the percentage of an ounce. And I'm putting these in this case for my AA's because it's how I store and carry them when I go backpacking. It's like a little pre-printed little flexi case. Works cool. Keep them separated, and yet again, get one out and be good to go. Because headlamp burns off with one AA. So we're going to start things off with the absolute lightest option, which is the Petzl E-Light. Now, all of these I'm going to go over is on high white light settings and everything. All of these headlamps have red and white lights, which to me is critical. They all have to have it, otherwise it's not worth it anyway. So this guy, there's my refills of batteries, and with the case and everything, you're talking 2.4 ounces for this headlamp. Obviously, you can get rid of the case, and that would save you some. So you'd go from 2.4 down to 1.7. Now, this is 1,000% an emergency headlamp. I mean, does it do white? Yes. Low, high. Max lumens is 40 lumens. We're going to do some videos on throw and everything for it later. Now, I do like the fact it does come with a little whistle, which is cool. Right? But it also does, when it's on your head, you can swivel it down all the way 360 degrees and go everywhere with it because the batteries are stored directly on the back of it. The downside to this flashlight is, depending on how many times you take it apart, you're going to start tearing up this whole plastic piece and everything over time. I don't know how long it'll take because, yet again, this is not my primary headlamp. But it will happen. This is not meant for continuous undo and redo and keep going and swapping. Is it capable? Yes. But it's not set up for it. They did a little bit of redesign on it. This would be the ultimate ultralight backpacking headlamp for it. Where it loses me, which is where I want to test it out, is the 40 lumens. But for 2.4 ounces, you absolutely can't beat it. You're gonna put that guy here. Right. So the next one is this little guy. This little guy is the Petzl Zipka Plus 2. Now this is a much older model. This is from 2005, 2006, something like that. I've had this one for the longest. It's really cool. It has an adjustable headband. If you have long hair, it really sucks because it will get sucked into there. I've had friends have that happen. The cool thing is, unlike any of them, it does have a battery indicator, which is pretty cool. So you can just turn it on and your buddy can tell you that you're running out of battery. It has red and white light, so I mean it's easy. Just hold it down and switch it to red. And it's easy access for the batteries. Just flip it open, go with it. On high, you're at 70 lumens with it. Now, the downside to this has bugged me on and off over the years. The angle's not bad for walking, and it's really great for like reading and doing stuff up close and everything at camp. The downside is once it's on your head, there's no other adjustment. It just springs back. So take that for what you will. They do have a recharge kit that you can use for like USB-C and everything for it. I obviously don't have that. It involves some taking stuff apart. I don't even know if my model would be able to do that. They claim it's the same battery weight difference between the rechargeable and the 3 AAAs. Where I get into that is that with lithium AAAs or with alkaline AAAs, because there is a difference. So as you can see, we're looking at 4.1 ounces for the total package, 2 complete refills plus the headlamp. So not bad. The next one we're dealing with, which I like this one a lot for my children or kids in general. It's a little bit more expensive. But this is the Princeton Tech Quad Tactical Light. So it has a bunch of different lenses. Obviously, I only care about white and red, so I just dropped in the red one. I couldn't tell you where the other ones are. I've had this one for forever as well. And it does have nice like locking angles, so it clicks into each one. Now the back of it and everything, obviously you can get it with your fingers, but it is set up. I mean, you can easily get it with your handy dandy Swiss Army knife that everyone should be carrying. But 3 AAA batteries, good to go. I don't know if they make a recharge adapter or not for this one. Princeton's a little bit different. But the reason I like this one is because of the slide shade. So I can give this to my kids and they have it on high. Let's say I'm talking to them when I'm blinding them, and I can flip it up or they can flip it up. So that way then it's safe and good to go. It makes it simple. You don't have to hit any buttons or anything. It's, oh, I'm talking to people. Okay, red. And roll with it that way, which is really nice. So yet again, it's another AAA flashlight. We're going to put these AAAs on here. Put the flashlight on here. And you're looking at 5 ounces for the total. Right? Definitely starting to get heavier. Keep in mind, there are things that you could do. These are all set up as factory. I have not changed them or altered them. You could take off this band and swap some weight out that way. Other than that, there's really not much else you could do with this one. But that is an option. But this is all ready to go. They both run on AAA, so I'll put them both over here for you. They stay there. So the next one on the list and everything is definitely the more expensive of the bunch. And everything. This is the Streamlight Sidewinder 3. Right? Oh, sorry, the Princeton's max lumens was 78 also. So the Streamlight Sidewinder 3, max lumens on white with AA batteries is 140 lumens. So that blows all of these out of the water lumen-wise. With CR123s, because it's a dual fuel, same as my flashlight, it's 275 lumens. Now, with the CR123s, you are getting brighter flash for a way shorter light run time. That's why I run it in AA's. And the cool thing about this is once it's on, it's on. Okay? It's on, it's on. So it doesn't matter when. You can switch it to red. Okay? It's just still on high setting. You can switch it to white. You can switch it to blue, which I really like the blue. And then it also has IR and everything. Right? So the reason I like this guy is A, for the IR when I'm doing night hunting and stuff like that for varmints and such. I have several of these that I can set up, that I go and set up ahead of time and everything on trees and stuff. Turn on the IR just to give me more flooding further away from me, because all I have is a night vision scope and everything on my rifle. It's not the greatest, but it definitely gets the job done. So that just gives me more throw for that. The other thing I like too is when I am volunteering and everything, we're doing our camp outs and stuff like that with my kids, I'll be the adult that has a blue light, because everybody has a red and white. A couple have green, which is really cool, but I'm typically the only one that has blue, so that way then my kids can find me. They know, oh look, Daddy's the one with the blue headlamp. Let's go find him if we need to ask him a question. So that's why I do that and everything. And that's why I really like this. This is in a lot of my bug out bags and stuff like that, and emergency bags, because it's the dual fuel. It can run on all 3 types of batteries. So you can run on the AAA, AA, or the CR123s, same as my flashlight and everything. But the downside for it, for backpacking, is you are talking 4.8 ounces for the headlamp. Now granted, that's lighter than the Princeton, but it's still heavy, right? So, and with the CR123s, it actually weighs a little bit less. It's like 0.3 ounces less, which is for the amount of time you lose for it. If you're doing a bunch of night hiking and everything, then obviously this would be far better with AA's than the CR123s, but you could run the CR123s if you're just looking for bright and go. So now, the other one I have and everything, which is the controversial one, depending on how you do it. So I have the Nikkor NU25L1, right? So has tons of different settings for everything. Okay, different white light modes for everything. It's got multiple red light modes. It is fantastic. I like it a lot and everything. It is by far, other than the Petzl E-Light, for starting out weight, which I know this is a popular backpacking one and everything, right? You're looking at 1.7 for the lamp, which is awesome. Where it becomes a problem for this is 2 recharges. So initially, everything, when I was looking into this, I was using one of these guys. So it's a 5,000 milliamp little recharger. It's got a built-in USB-C for it. So literally it was plug and play, right? So literally just take the 5,000 milliamp, and from dead and everything, it would only lose 22% battery. So it was still at 78 off of a fully charged 5,000 milliamp. Well, with this and that, you're talking 5.4 ounces, which is now the heaviest option, even though it's the lighter light of the rest of these. Okay, the Petzl Zipka is at 2.1. The Princeton's at 3.0 just by itself. This guy's at 3.3 by itself. So the only one that's lighter is this one, the Petzl E-Light, and with the case it's 1.6 ounces. Without the case, the lamp itself is just 1 ounce. So I need to get it more manageable. So the other option that I found in one of my other bags was this Atomic Tech 3,000 milliamp, right? Yep, 3,000. No, you can't really see it, but a 3,000 milliamp battery. So with that battery, and then you have to have a charging cable. So it's got a USB-C and a micro USB, because this uses both and everything. You're looking at 4.2, 4.1 pounds, depending on, or ounces, depending on how you wiggle, jiggle, and set this up. So now at this point, this guy is weighing in the same as this. Okay, this whole package right here, which is, these two are now tied for second place for the lightest option, with this being your absolute lightest option. Now for me and everything, I'm torn, because obviously I'm not taking this guy. It doesn't have enough lumens. I don't trust it enough to take it. I have a lot of miles on this one. I have 0 miles on this one. The only thing that makes or breaks it for me is the batteries and the parts and pieces. Now, am I able to secure these in my backpack and on my chest rig and stuff like this? Yes, 100% yes. And will I be? Probably. This one is probably going to be the one I'm going to take, because I want to get some miles on it and test it out and everything. As of right now, it's just primarily been my swim meet headlamp and everything when I'm doing timing in the summertime for my kids, and getting to the car after the swim meets. So it hasn't seen any real hard use. This guy's been beat up and everything. This is a tried and true. I will stand behind this headlamp until I'm done. Like, my kids were joking with me and everything. I mean, I've had this headlamp longer than I've known my wife, let alone been married to her. So that's where I'm torn. This is my bomb proof. This is I want to make it, want to try it out and see how it goes. The only splitting difference for this is with this guy, I have spare batteries for my backup without bringing any other batteries, because I know this will run off of these AAAs. With this, I do not. There is no backup. There is no nothing. Now, what I can do and everything, which I was thinking about doing as well, if I'm taking this and everything, then I can go ahead and swap out my AA battery for one of those is I have a bunch of True Blue rechargeable batteries and everything. And then I can put that inside of here, and then these two become a pair. And then if everything went sideways and everything, I get to a town, then I could get a AA battery for this, and then I'd be back in money because I have no way to charge this battery bank with me. I'm not going to be gone on this trip, and everything's only going to be, what, 4 days, 3 nights, or whatever. So I'm not worried about recharging this on this trip and everything. And my cell phone's a whole nother can of worms. So that's where I'm at. Not really 100% sure what I'm going to go with it yet. When we go through the final backpacking list and everything, I'll definitely go over that. But wanted to touch base about all this stuff because, like I said, trying to lighten up my load for going down for this backpacking trip and everything. And I thought it was kind of interesting. Definitely be coming back with a bunch more videos about the backpacking stuff, blowing the dust off of a bunch of old stoves and everything. And I've had some free time, so I've been making some stoves and stuff. So we'll be testing those out and everything else. So other than that, don't ever give up. Like, share, subscribe, and have a good one. Bye.